Hi, everyone. I'm Bruce Levine. I am the Barbara and Edward Netter Professor in Cancer Gene Therapy at the University of Pennsylvania and the founding director of the Clinical Cell and Vaccine Production Facility here. I'm pleased to be with you today on behalf of the 10th CAR-TCR Summit to have a conversation with Tom Whitehead, co-founder of the Emily Whitehead Foundation. Tom's daughter, Emily, was the first pediatric patient to receive CAR T cell therapy, and her story has helped inspire a global movement in cancer treatment and patient advocacy. It's a pleasure to be with you, Tom. Could you start by introducing yourself and how the foundation came to be and the work that you're doing?
Yeah, good morning, Bruce. I'm Tom Whitehead, the proud father of Emily and president and co-founder of the Emily Whitehead Foundation. And I'm also a lineman for the power company, still covering power outages in between the work that I do for the foundation. Um, Honestly, Emily became the first child in the world at your lab, Bruce, to have her immune system trained to beat her cancer back in 2012. And we brought her home, excuse me, and she healed up for about 6 months. And then when we announced it to the world in the New York Times, it had worldwide media coverage very quickly within the day that it came out. And with all of that media coverage came calls from other parents of patients saying that we're being sent home on hospice and we're looking for hope. And that those calls I've been taking ever since, which is now 13 years. But that inspired us to start the Emily Whitehead Foundation so we could pay it forward. And our goal every day has been to spread awareness of these new advanced therapies and also advocate for patients to actually get into these treatments. And in the beginning as well, we were funding pediatric immunotherapy cancer research to make sure that the whole revolution could move forward after we realized, the miracle we received in Emily, getting through that treatment and the science behind it just amazed us. And again, we've done everything we can since then, and that is really what led me to attending the very first CAR-TCR Summit up there in Boston when this all started. And that's when I met the Hanson Wade team and always been very impressed. And it's been a great thing for our foundation to be part of. So anyway, that's how we got started. And we continue today to get calls from patients or parents of patients from all over the world.
CAR T cell therapy has come a long way since 2012. There are now 7 approved CAR T products in the US targeting CD19 and BCMA and global approvals. And my estimate is around 50,000 patients have received the regulatory approved CAR T cell therapies. That doesn't count clinical trials or China. And the CAR TCR meeting has grown in that time, in that decade as well. What do you think has enabled this progress? And specifically, from the patient point of view, what more needs to happen to accelerate it and make treatments more accessible for patients?
Yeah, I would say meetings like this CAR-TCR is where this really started to expand. For us, it was pretty amazing to see how quickly that the treatment, started to be given in other centers, and we were proud to help be part of that. But again, I mean, back then, in the beginning, right after Emily's success, a lot of the patients that we talked to, they all had to figure out a way to get to Philadelphia to get to you guys so that they could get treated. And that's what's changed the most, I would say, since then, is the expansion and the other centers treating. It's really been amazing to see how far it's come. But again, now I was told recently that only maybe 20% of the patients that could qualify for these treatments are actually getting into them. I wouldn't say that for the approved Kymriah drug that Emily received from you guys that turned into Kymriah. But a lot of those patients, after the 5-year FDA approval and insurance covered it, a lot of the patients that would qualify for that treatment end up getting into it. But there's still a lot of patients, especially adults, that either decide not to try to get to a trial or for whatever reason can't get into a trial. So I think it's a lot more accessible, but a lot more work needs to be done. And I think the work that's being done by all the companies that attend conferences like this is going to help make it quicker. I know it took 6 weeks for Emily to get her cells made, and now we're hearing that it can be done in maybe a week because we did meet a lot of patients in the beginning that just couldn't survive long enough for the cells to be grown so the process would start, and they just didn't make it that long. So I know that's saving a lot more lives, the less time frame it takes to get back to them, and also how you guys learn to treat the side effects. When Emily got really sick from the cytokine storm and come up with tocilizumab that saved her life, I know that has kept a lot of people out of the intensive care units when they do receive the treatments. But again, I think, I've heard between 40 and 50,000 patients getting into advanced therapies worldwide since then. So, I mean, for us, it's just amazing what happened in our family and how it's helped so many patients around the world. And I know, Bruce, that you're very proud of the work that you guys do, but the patients from all over the world are very thankful. And a lot of them are very sick when they get a chance to try this, but they're just glad that they can find hope in a trial.
And it does take caregiver support, right? You and your wife, Carrie, put your lives on hold to be with Emily, to stay with her in the hospital, and people need a caregiver to accompany them still, and that doesn't count all of the financial ancillary costs. So it's fortunate that Emily had the support system, you, Carrie, and your greater family to bring her through.
Yeah, we decided early on when she had some complications in the first 2 weeks of her treatment, when we started back at Hershey Children's Hospital, and she got infections in her legs, that we would never split up again, even if it cost us our jobs. And we were very fortunate. I worked for First Energy as a lineman, and Carrie works for Penn State University. That both of our employers allowed other people that we work with to donate vacation to us. In 2012, I borrowed 520 hours of vacation and never missed a 40-hour paycheck while we were at the hospital helping Emily survive. And I'm still very thankful for that, but I know a lot of people don't have that option. But you're right. There is some people even today that are having trouble getting into a trial because they don't have a caretaker to bring along with them.
Well, you work in the energy sector, and a decade after the foundation, where do you get your personal energy to keep going in this work?
Yeah, it can be very tiring, and I myself have a compromised immune system from my Remicade infusions for my Crohn's disease, which gives me a lot of fatigue. But there's just nothing like helping the next family that reaches out and then receiving a call that says, because you took our call 6 months ago, it saved our child's life. And, when Emily was really sick, I just decided if we can get her through this, I'm going to spend the rest of my life trying to make a difference and pay it forward because of the gift we received.
And what are your hopes for the future of CAR-T, other T-cell therapies, other cell therapies from a patient and family perspective? What have you seen over the past decade?
Yeah, I mean, to start off with what saved Emily, we'd love to see that become frontline treatment for the standard risk patients when they're diagnosed, to keep them from even doing chemotherapy. That would be amazing. And then we get so many calls from the parents of patients or adult patients with solid tumor cancers that are just hoping that you guys and all the researchers and, like I said, all the people that attend these conferences that can come up with a trial and give them hope to crack these solid tumors, which would save so many more lives.
Well, you are giving people hope. I know that for a fact. And the CAR-TCR team, they're excited to be supporting the Believe Bundles initiative at this year's meeting. Could you talk us through that initiative and how people can get involved at this year's meeting? And then maybe talk a little bit about what you've done with the Believe Balls.
Yeah, sure. Recently we started what we call the Believe Bundles program, and that is making up bags of items you might need when you get admitted in the hospital. We knew when we went, if someone dropped something off to us, or sometimes you have to get to the hospital so fast you just forget things. So we're not just putting like standard things in these bags. We're custom making them for the patients and what their disease is. For instance, recently we worked with Victoria Gray, the first sickle cell patient, to come up with items that she said these patients will need when they get to the hospital. And then we're making them up for pediatric cancer, or whichever hospital we're going to drop them off at. We custom make these bags. We're having them sponsored. Then we have people in the industry at these meetings put the bags together as a team building exercise, and then we go and drop them off at the hospital. It's really gaining momentum, and a lot of people that have received them are giving great feedback that it's actually items they need. When they get to the hospital, we're getting lots of pictures of people using the items in there. And then the other thing, when we had all that worldwide attention, and you can attest to this, Bruce, that we started getting invited to Hollywood events, which we were fortunate to attend with you. But with all of the media attention around Emily, she said one day, what about the other children? When they get treated, they need to have an event to go to. And that original comment led us to starting our Believe Ball Gala in Philadelphia. And starting, next September of 26, it'll be an annual event at the Crystal Tea Room. But our goal there is make it all about the patients that receive the treatment, and bring people in the industry together. Those patients have been able to attend our event at no cost to the family. And then people in the industry that sponsor them to come get to sit with them that evening. And it's just been a really inspiring event, one of the most inspiring things I've attended, and very proud of that we are part of getting that started. But that gala, the last one, most of the ones we've held have had around 30 patients. We even had a family come in from Australia to the last one. But it's not just cancer patients either. It's people that have received these new advanced therapies. We're trying to bring them all together and just move that, again, try to be part of raising funds to help advocate for patients looking for these treatments, to do whatever we can to help them get to them.
A lot of things have happened over the past decade that you couldn't ever imagine, right? Meeting
Yeah.
pop stars and presidents, and the documentary of Medicine and Miracles. And I have on my desk here, there's a board game, CAR-T cell therapy. I co-wrote a song called Ring That Bell about CAR-T cell therapy. How do you look back on that in the context of awareness and where you came from to where things are now?
Well, I'll tell you, just speaking of the people we met, one of the things that impressed me most at the very first CAR-TCR Summit, Dr. Zelig Eshar was there, and I got to meet him. And then at the end of the conference, I said to him, I have to stay an extra night here before I go home. Would you like to go to dinner? And he agreed, and we got to go to dinner together. And meetings like that meant as much to me as going to the White House and meeting the president. And we could have never guessed what was coming. We were at the hospital just fighting to keep Emily alive and do whatever we could. And then the next thing I know, we're with you in Beverly Hills meeting all these celebrities. And but again, I've tried to do everything I can to accept the media interviews and make movies. And we wrote a book called "Praying for Emily: the Faith, Science, and Miracles That Saved Our Daughter." We've been part of a new IMAX movie, "Superhuman Body: World of Medical Marvels." It's in IMAX theaters right now, and that all is done because that awareness that gets out there lets people know about these new treatments, and then they find out about it and reach out to us. And I can name like events we've been to, and then the patient that led to getting treated that we helped. Again, that's what keeps me going even when I'm tired, is the next patient that needs help. I remember everybody that took calls when my Emily was that sick, and I want to be the person that answers that call when the next patient reaches out.
I remember seeing Zella Gesher at that first CAR-TCR Summit, and I met him, and of course had known of his work for a long time. He always had a twinkle in his eye, and Emily meant so much to him. Unfortunately, we lost him last month, but his legacy in these treatments lives on. So with
Yeah,
that as a start to CAR-TCR, what does your partnership with the CAR-TCR Summit mean to you, and how do conferences like this and broader industry collaboration help support the mission of the Emily Whitehead Foundation?
well, being part of that since the beginning has actually helped us grow and have a bigger impact. And we hold a 5K now each year. The first year I went up there, the goal was just hopefully we can break even to cover our expenses, to come to a conference, which we did. I think we just broke even, but we had a big impact and made an impact on other people. And now, we come there and we have sponsors for the 5K, and the people that come out are just really inspired to get a chance to meet our team and make a difference while they're at the conference. And I've always been impressed with, it's like a small team at Hanson Wade that pulls off an amazing conference. And the first year when they said, "Do you want to go to dinner with us when the conference is over?" I agreed and met up with them when they were done, and I was like, "Where's the rest of the team?" And they're like, "This is it. This is everyone." So to see what they can accomplish, and also to see how much it's grown since then. But when I've been out and about, and people in the industry that have options to go to conferences all the time and everywhere, they do tell me that this one really is one they like to attend because they can make great connections and get something done while they're there, and it's not so big that you can't find anybody.
Well, I've been to everyone that I could go to. And so, Tom, thank you for sharing your powerful story and the incredible work that the Emily Whitehead Foundation continues to do in supporting families and advancing childhood cancer research. It's inspiring to reflect on how personal courage, and it is courage, for you all to continue this work, and scientific innovation can come together to change lives. For those invested in the cutting edge of cell therapy, I encourage you to check out the upcoming 10th CAR-TCR Summit taking place from September 23rd to 26th in Boston. It brings together advocates, including the Emily Whitehead Foundation, along with biopharma leaders and researchers from around the world, with the shared goal of advancing life-saving cell therapies for patients in need. Summit attendees will also have the opportunity to participate in the Emily Whitehead Foundation Believe Box initiative on site. And I think, or is there a 5K again this year?
I believe there's going to be. As
All
far
right.
as Jody Potter sets those up for us. And I would like to add right at the end here now that just to give you an update, that Emily turned 13 years cancer-free on May 10th of 2025. And she's now 20 years old, which she turned on May 2nd of 2025. And she is a junior at the University of Pennsylvania, where she can usually see Bruce's office from her dorm or apartment. So she's getting straight A's and doing well. And the most important thing is she's 13 years now from spending a night in the hospital. So we're very thankful for what you did, Bruce, and for what everyone in the industry does. And we look forward to seeing everybody out in Boston.
And it's absolutely incredible that I can look over my left shoulder and see Emily's dorm. It's really something. Well, thank you everyone for watching, and thank you again, Tom, for your time and your tireless advocacy for patients.
Thanks, Bruce.